Street Fitness. Today I want to take you through a couple different variations of the dumbbell ground overhead. Just like the name implies, the goal is to take our dumbbells from the floor to an overhead position. There are a few different options for this, so I just want to run through these with you with a couple different key points to keep in mind. The first option we have is to perform a dumbbell clean, getting the dumbbells to the shoulders, and then either doing a push press or a push jerk, getting that weight overhead. The dumbbell clean, you can either do a muscle clean, so starting from the floor, loading the hips, shrugging, getting right to the shoulders. Right from the side again, I'm just muscling that weight up, driving through the hips, shrugging, bringing it to the shoulders. The other option would be to do a power clean. Power clean, the only difference is that I'm gonna drop under the weights and land in a partial dip. Same thing from the side, it's gonna look like this. Load the hips, shrug and catch. To get that weight overhead, we can either do a push press or a push jerk. Just like that muscle clean and power clean, the only difference between those is that I'm driving my weight underneath it as I land. Typically for a lighter weight, I would probably do my muscle clean and push press. It's a little bit faster. It allows you to cycle more reps, whereas if you're going a little bit heavier, you may need to rely on the legs a little bit more using the power clean and push jerk. The other style of this is you can actually perform this between the feet. For some of us, that narrow stance is a little hard to get, that dip and drive to go overhead. So if you perform with the dumbbells between the feet, you can actually avoid having to step out every time. It's the same idea. I'm gonna load my hips into a nice hinge, drive, shrug, get the weight to my shoulders, then I can just drive straight overhead. From the side again, it's here. And up. So that's one option, the dumbbell clean, either the muscle clean or the power clean, followed by either a push press or a push jerk. Again, you can interchange those, use them however you want, getting the dumbbells from the ground to the shoulders, shoulder to overhead. Problem with this is that it takes a little bit longer, right? Think about if you're doing 5 to 10 reps at a time, you have to stop on the shoulders, dip, re-go to get overhead. The other option would be a dumbbell snatch, two-handed snatch. For this, we're gonna set up just like we would for the dumbbell clean, with the dumbbells inside the feet. I'm gonna load my hips, exact same setup as before. The only difference is I'm not gonna stop at the shoulders. I'm gonna go directly overhead, coming down, back up. From the side, looks like this. A little bit more challenging in terms of coordination, but it will give you a greater cycle time. It will help you out doing more reps in less time, increasing your power output. Depending on the workout, I would interchange either the clean and the jerk or the dumbbell snatch. Typically, I would use that clean and jerk for a little bit heavier weight, more reps. I would use this for lighter weight, less reps. No matter what option you choose, we want to keep a few things in mind. The biggest thing to keep in mind today is our back position. We want to keep a nice stable midline. As I come down and load, I should be nice and flat here. The weight should be back in my hips. We don't want to see our weight coming on the toes or especially rounding. One option is if you have limited mobility, you can't get quite into that start position, we can take the dumbbells from the hang just knee height. That allows me to load my hips, get into a nice flat position, and still get the benefit of that exercise without putting my body at risk. The other big thing to think about today is our lockout overhead. So when I finish, whether I'm doing my dumbbell snatch, push press, or push jerk, I want those arms locked out in a nice tight position, elbows underneath the wrists, drawing a straight line. We want to avoid arching the back or pushing those dumbbells out away from us. Finally, we want to think about using our hips. So a lot of times with the dumbbells, you'll see a lot of people doing bicep curls. When we're doing a clean, we want to avoid that. As I'm coming up, my arms stay relaxed and I'm getting all that power through my hips. Once I get to here at that point, then we get underneath the weight. So guys, if you just keep those three things in mind, keeping a nice flat back position, stable lockout overhead, and using your hips as much as possible, that'll help keep you safe and move efficiently in the workout. Have a great time. You got